this thing just sits on your arm. It feels like it's that soft feel. I mean, I really like it. I don't know. There's a lot of people who, there's a contingent of contact jugglers who swear by your old style of stage ball, those really hard ones.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, did you see there was a video, an old video on contact juggling where the two guys debate and review the two styles of contact juggling. The one who likes the hard ball considers everybody else to be a wimp.
Yeah, exactly.
And vice versa.
Well, they say it's the best way to learn. You know, that's really light, really hard.
Yeah.
No forgiveness. You know,
Yeah.
they just any bumps or weirdness in your body and it's gone. You know?
We used to have one of our oldest customers, Fred Garbo, never liked beanbags. I used to teach. I said, why? He said he liked people to be penalized and punishment on their errors, you know? And if they drop, it's all over the place.
Well, there was, I mean, and that's so funny what's happened in the contact juggling community is there was a lot of people who were swearing by silex balls as a way to learn.
Mm-hmm.
And now there's been a huge backlash against them because of their sort of wobbly roll.
Yeah.
And that it's sort of cheating or too easy, or when you learn with a silex, you lose, and then you switch to an acrylic.
Right.
You're done, you know?
Because you haven't really developed that skill.
Yeah, and understanding what the speed of a regular ball is, you know?
Anyway, this is Blake here. And what, you live in the city?
Yes, we do.
Uh-huh. You've been coming down here for a couple of years or something like that?
Oh yeah, I bought my hundreds I use on the street are Dubé.
Mm-hmm.
I bought my Babish 125s here.
Mm-hmm.
Friend of Kyle's. Used to run down at the Pratt juggling meetups, but those are done now.
Anyway, so we got these balls from Italy. We waited months and months for them. They screwed up everything that was supposed to put our logo. They didn't have it right. We went back and forth for a couple months. We said, forget it. Just don't bother putting our logo on it because they were kind of making them for us. I met these guys at the trade show I mentioned, and when you mold this kind of product that's hollow, it's very difficult to control the wall. And the woman that was a family member, I think, of the company doing it said that basically they had it tweaked, they had the machine really, really tweaked. But when you make rhythmic gymnastic balls for that industry, they do have to be, relatively precise in their government requirements, the mission requirements.
Yeah.
Anyway, we wanted, where they make these play balls, like sometimes you see these large play balls, they start with small molds, they inflate them when they're warm.
And they blow them up.
They blow them when they're warm out of the molds, and then when they cool, they've kind of got that size. We asked them to do this, they took photos of them at 8 inches. They sent us this, which is nothing but their standard rhythmic ball. We're really upset with them.
Because you want one that goes up to 8 inches.
We told them we wanted 8 to 9 inches, and they actually even took photos in Italy of an 8-inch ruler showing that the ball was going to be 8 inches. So we got them in. They started debating with us. We were dealing with a rep in the United States. I said, look, it's pretty clearly stated in our PO. These balls, I hate to say it, are really relatively useless for our purpose.
Right.
Because, we didn't want a ball like this because this is a standard item. But anyway, so Kyle just showed this to you. We're wondering, should we return them? They said they will take them back. But we're thinking that it does have use, like what you're doing right now.
Yeah, I mean.
So the way I should have started this segment is with this segment and say, what do you think? Is this worth anything? Can you do anything?
I love it, but it's a very specific kind,
As they say on Letterman, is this anything?
Is this anything? Right?
Yeah, apparently it is, because we're in the hands of Blake over here.
In the hands of a juggler, nothing becomes something very quickly.
And also for head bounces, I don't know if you do that, but people have asked us for a ball for head bounces.
Yeah, I don't do it much, but this ball seems like it would be pretty good.
Yeah, because none of the stage balls, so they're all going to be a little too hard for that, and probably a little too small. The problem with this is you can spin it. I wouldn't want to market it that way because really.
Well, it doesn't have that collapse that those.
It doesn't have the collapse, which is why we wanted to have them maybe about 8-9 inches, and then if you deflate them slightly,
then you'll get that sort of.
And you want that.
I mean, there's a growing school of people in contact that are doing isolations and doing stuff with stage balls.
Right.
Acrylics after Fushigi. People started moving away from acrylics because of obvious reasons.
Yeah. Did you see the little the satirical piece that I wrote on Fushigi?
I did.
One of the pieces I
I mean,
it actually got pretty good response.
there was such an uproar in the contact community about it. I mean, it completely changed the way that the job goes, you know, especially for the people who are working on
It
the
wasn't
street.
sour grapes because they were marketing something we had. I really felt it was misrepresenting.
Oh, it was 100% misrepresented.
Because they're basically taking a ball and making it look like, most people are more familiar with the magic world and that you can buy a trick or you can buy something that doesn't.
A zombie ball.
Right, exactly. And I think that that's really what they led you to believe in their advertising, is you'd buy this ball and it was specially designed for that. And as we all know, there isn't anything specially designed for contact. You just have to spend hours and hours.
Exactly. It was especially designed for spending a lot of time by yourself at home.
I had a magician come in once and he was doing some pretty nice manipulation. And I said to him, I said, is that 1995 at Cannon's, or is that a buck 95 at the local store? That's not a lot of work. He says the latter. So that's the kind of thing with contact. I think that's why people are so upset.
Yeah.
It also diminishes it. People see that and it's heavily promoted, and then I see you, they figure, oh, you know, it's that 1995 ball, and there's no skill, and that's really upsetting.
Did it.
Yeah.
And that suddenly there were preconceived notions about what contact was.
Yes.
And there wasn't much way to defend yourself.
No.
And
you look like a fool trying to
You
defend
look like a
yourself.
fool.
Yeah.
And then you have to have a break in your act, or you have to incorporate defending yourself into your
That's
act.
terrible.
And that just became really hard. Now it's funny because things have changed. It's been out. I still hear it. It's still out there.
Yeah.
And I carry a stage ball, 100mm stage ball with me when I perform to bounce off the ground and show. And then you can put it in somebody's hand.
Right.
Put my acrylic in a kid's hand. It's going to drop it on the ground, and that acrylic cost me, $50, $60, and it needs to last me for a long time. And if it gets a scratch on it. So I started, but now you get the kids who say, oh, he's got that ball, Fushigi or Fushimi or whatever, and then he's like, I had one of those, and I can't make it work like he does. Or my cousin bought one of those, and it didn't work at all, you know, and so.
So to this day, are there people still in an audience on the street that actually are familiar with that marketing of the product?
Oh, yeah.
And so you got to deal with that all the time?
Right now, I'd say it's 1 in 5.
Wow, that's
2010 was 3 or 4 in 5.
Wow, that's crazy.
It's still out there. I mean, there's really no way. It's like hula hoop, you know.
Yeah.
Hula hoop was a brand name, but now everybody calls it hula hoop.
Yeah. If people are unfamiliar with the whole thing, they can go to our Facebook page. I think Kyle published a little comedy humor piece that I wrote on it. And they can look up
I saw it
and find that.
And
find the links
on contactjuggling.org, which is the sort of big contact site. You know, there was a 100-page thread about it,
and so people can go there also.
And people can go there and
see what the whole, because it's
if they're at the point where they're looking at it on the internet, they're already my friend.
Yeah.
You know, they're already looking more into it.
Right.
But it'll always be there now. Fushigi will always be with us. is the really scary and sad
So this
part.
ball is of some value, it looks like.
I mean, it's really nice and smooth. It has that sort of tackiness to it.
Yeah.
And I think there's a growing school of people, like, you guys had Cyril down here, who's like bringing really, especially 2 and 3 ball body rolling is really starting to take off. A lot of Japanese guys are doing 2 and 3 ball body rolling stuff with 125s. But I like it. I mean, it makes for more of a gymnastic kind of routine because you lose the effect. You lose the magic effect, but you can still do isos with it. I mean, you can still do basically anything you want with it.
Right.
And I think that Contact is starting to understand, as I said, because of Fushigi, that you don't necessarily need a clear ball to do any kind of illusions. You know?
Mm-hmm. Right.
That people, if you create the effect, people will respond to it. But I really like it. I mean, it's a nice.